and President-elect Barrow was declared the winner of the election. The IEC, under Section 43 of the Constitution, has the mandate to announce the results of election. Under Section 63 of the Constitution, the person declared elected should take oath and assume office on the day of expiration of the term of the incumbent. This is the reading of the coalition. You know, and they are in a better position to explain to you that the loser in the election decided, after accepting, to reject and proceed to the court. The day of expiration of the term, according to the Constitution, is clearly spelled out. Who should assume office after the expiration of that term? That is the issue to be resolved. And we have ECOWAS coming to mediate. They are in the process. It is not conclusive. We believe that their effort will continue, since they have been able to meet both sides. We anticipate, as we have always said, that as Gambians, our destiny is in our own hands. No president could claim to be credible who will rule a country of dead bodies and destroyed property. As far as the coalition is concerned, it has, from the very inception, told every Gambian that it's a coalition to be able to effect change of government so that Gambia will have a new start. We have an independent candidate elected as president so that no party will take ownership of power, no ethno-linguistic group will take ownership of power, no religion, but the sovereign Gambian people will begin to know that they have the authority to change their manner of government, authority to check, scrutinize, and restrain any government in power, and the capacity to move that government when they so desire. So in that sense then, we are still in the process of negotiation as we move towards the 19th, and I would stop here for any question that you may have.
Yeah, Mr. Sallah, yes. Excuse me, how far is the negotiation as of now?
Yes, that's what I've just announced, that ECOWAS is still in the process. They have met both sides. They have listed, because negotiation is looking at the divergent positions, and you try to narrow it down. We are waiting for more efforts to be able to narrow down the differences.
What are those divergent?
Now the difference is still what?
Well, what I think all of you had known, we don't have to ask ECOWAS what those differences are. We, the Gambian people, we know what the differences are. So what we are telling you is their effort to be able to narrow down those differences. And we are also struggling to see whether Gambians themselves will also try to narrow down those differences.
I suppose you talked about divergence of.
How does the new election fund for this book affect the inaugurations?
Well, as you've said, something is filed. When something is filed and nothing is conclusive, there is no restraint to the inauguration. That's what it means.
Honorable,
Injunction is to give an order.
is there anything that could stop the inauguration of President-elect Adam Barrow on Thursday, the 19th?
What we have said is that the Constitution says that there should be no vacancy in the office of President based on the end of a term. The Constitution is very clear that the person elected president declared to be elected should assume office. So essentially, that is the reading, and that is what is being continued. And as you've heard, some people have gone to court to have an injunction given. But you know that that process has not taken place. So if it takes place and there is conclusion there, then we will hold a press conference, and then you can ask us, how do you see the conclusion?
Mr. Sallah, you talked about divergence of positions. What can you summarize for us? What are the key points discussed or the conditions put on the table?
That's what I'm saying, that we do not know what ECOWAS would discuss with each side. They are mediators, and they will not go and tell you because they are not laying conditions on people. It is our position, and this is the position we have said, that the position of the coalition is that we decided to participate in elections because we are the Gambian people, and we have a right to be elected or to elect. So we participated in the elections, knowing exactly what we are entitled to. What the president-elect is entitled to is, after the results, to head towards being sworn in as president.
What you talked about, you said that the talks will continue, but what are the chances? Because we have just few days away from the inauguration.
We cannot speculate on talks, because talks means speaking to both sides and narrowing differences. So that is something that we cannot predict. We can simply say, let them continue the initiative.
What are your
the Gambian people?
What are your expectations then?
The expectation is that the Gambian people and the international community will not sit and wait and preside over a country that is destroyed by war, destroyed in terms of property, destroyed by human beings, and human beings suffer.
How will they avoid that?
That's why there is talk,
When
there
do
is
you suppose-
negotiation.
Is there a chance of that happening?
And we have, well, this is what I'm saying. Do you want us to speculate?
When do you
We cannot
suppose-
speculate. We are saying concrete things have been done. ECOWAS is here.
What form will the
And-
negotiation take?
Well, ECOWAS is here. And ECOWAS has done part of its work. And they are going. So we are simply saying that the negotiation must continue.
Excuse me, sir. When do you suppose the
Up to
ECOWAS
the
talks
19th.
will end? When do you suppose the talks with the ECOWAS will end?
Well, obviously, we are saying the 19th is the end of the term of the income.
So
So
talks
if,
continue till 19th?
well, to the 19th, obviously.
What form will it take?
If
now?
the-
What we are
They are
saying
gone.
today's talk is not enough to solve the crisis.
And that's precisely what I've said, that the crisis has not been solved by today's talk.
Thank you.
We are aware that contacts have been made between the coalition and the outgoing president through his mediator general. You said with us.
Well, we are simply saying that the mediator general is not mediator in its proper context. It's not mediating impartially between people. You know that when the outgoing president congratulated the incoming president and accepted the results, there was opening of communication, and there was liaison on both sides to facilitate a smooth transfer of power. But when he declared that he rejected the results, of course, the communication was cut. And therefore there was gap. And the liaison is simply out to restore that communication link. And that is a healthy development. That
So
now on his
communication
side,
has been established between the coalition and the outgoing government?
well, the liaison now, who is now called a mediator general, has reached out, and discussion did take place. The discussion is restricted to presenting the view of the other side and taking the view of the coalition. So these are the things that you will look at, and hopefully all sides will be sincere enough to look at the situation and come to an agreement on something that will serve the nationality.
If the crisis
the
remain unsolved, will it stop the inauguration of the?
Well, I don't know why you keep on saying if the crisis is remain unstopped. What we are saying is that you've heard that somebody has gone to court. So which means that certain constitutional processes are taking place, And we are acting on the basis of the constitutional processes. The other side is also acting on the basis of constitutional processes, and we should insist that all Gambians act on the basis of those constitutional processes. Then we will avert the crisis.
This is the second time the ECOWAS delegation are coming to the Gambia, and based on what you've said, they've not reached anything conclusive. How do you hope that they're going to reach something conclusive within the 5 days remaining?
Well, I believe you've seen the process, the annulling of elections, and eventually the reneging from that position to say, well, we must go to the courts. You've seen that. In a similar vein, the coalition said, well, we will go on with what the Constitution says, that the declared person should assume office, and you've now seen somebody going to the court for an injunction. So what we should see is that processes are taking place. And that's what a country should always do, to understand your right and pursue it. And through that, we will see what the ultimate consequences will be. But we will say that the coalition will never be found wanting in preserving the integrity of the Gambian people, the integrity of the elections, the sovereignty of the people, and to preserve the lives and property of the Gambian people.
Now, since the crisis is not solved and negotiation continues, is ECOWAS supposed to come back here again?
But ECOWAS is a mediator. So they will continue to do whatever they believe is necessary to be able to address this crisis.
Sir, Olaf.
Mr. Sallah. Mr. Sallah.
No, Olaf.
Last question.
Mr. Sallah.
My question, Olaf. No.
I want to understand that right now Gambians are, if I can say, displaced in our own country. So what will be your message to the Gambian populace right now at this present time when we have looking at 5 days towards January 19th?
Well, I don't know how Gambians will allow themselves to be displaced if they're the owners of the country. And their voices should continue to be architects of their own destiny. What is important at this stage is for Gambians to refuse to be divided. We must be a nation of one people. And that is only possible if we agree to be governed by rule. And the fundamental rule is to accept that through elections, we will choose our leaders. So once that happens, everyone should respect the verdict of those elections. We will tell all Gambians that irrespective of ethno-linguistic origin, irrespective of religion, irrespective of political divide, we are Gambians, and the only thing that can keep us together is we go to the polls and select our leaders, and whoever is selected, everyone will acknowledge and respect that verdict. That is the road to peace.
Can you take one more question, please?
Well, yes. Yes, but is that person?
Yes.
You know, yeah, that's what all of saying.
Can I take it?
Okay, the Wolof version. Okay. I think they need the Wolof version.
I don't know, I'm saying.
nga bëgg a laajte rek mooy gis nañ ne tey seen waxtaan bi def ngeen ko si jàmm lan nga ko mën a tënkee.
Li ñu wax mooy ne waxtaan wi dafa fekk jàmm ci réew mi te jàmm ji ku nekk xam ne ne coalition bi moo ko sàmm ci réew ndaxte li nga xam ne moo tax coalition am mooy pour ñu fexe doomi Gambie yëpp mun a ànd ñu mun a am Gambie bu bees boo xam ne benn parti du ko moom benn diine du ko moom benn xeet du ko moom loolu mooy woon jubluwaay bon nag bi nga xamee ne ñëw nañ ba wote bi am bañ wax ki gañe ba ki nga xam ne moo daanu woo ko loolu taxoon na réew mi di jublu nag ci jàmm joo xam ne yokkute gu rëy la doon ci réew ba mu demee ba bañ itam gis nañu ne nañ sukkandiku ci baati réew mi te baati réew mi ci bunte ñeneen fukki ak ñett dafa ne ki yore mbiri élection bi muy IEC ñoom ñoo war a wax kan a gañ bunte juróom benn fukki ya ñu ne suuf ak ñett ñu ne suñu waxee ki gañee kooka moo war a jël nguur gi su fekkee ne ka fa toog waxtoom jeex moo tax coalition bi di oote ne su fukki fan ak juróom-ñeent dinañ continuer pour ki nga xam ne moo gañee dal di ko waat waaye ñële nag ñëwoon nañ dugg ci koot moo tax ñu ne mbiri koot mbiri ki daanu la moom lañ may cër boobu wante ki gañe itam cër biñ ko may loolu itam dafa war a continuer mu mel ni jàmm ji mooy ne waxtaan dafa war a am benn nangutoo mun a am ca loola looloo taxoon ECOWAS ñëw pour yokk waxtaan wi ñu ngaa dellu nag te waxtaan wi jeexul wala amaguñ lu ko saafaraal mu ngi mel ni moo tax foo ñu continuer waat ñu waxtaan wi ñun itam ci biir fii ñu xam ne Gambie ñoo ko moom benn njiit buggul nga jiite réew moo xam ne mi ay niiw ñooy nekk ci réew ma ay alali réew ñooy kasaara benn njiit boo xam ne bii loolu mooy éeneem kooku ku nekk xam ne ne du war a njiit bon nag am nañu yaakaar ne su fekkee ne ñi nga xam ne ñoo bokkoon ci welet ñëpp d'accord nañ ne Gambie warutu nekk réew moo xam ne suñ mujjeental mooy ci toroxtaange ci kasaaral alali réew kasaaral bakkan bon am nañu yaakaar ne waxtaan wi balaa fukki fan ak juróom-ñeneen dinañ ci mën a gis bunte boo xam ne dinañu mën a may jàmm.
waaw loolu laa ci tamit comme su nekkee ne waxtaan bi gisu leen si bunte bi fukki fan ak juróom-ñeneen ndax inauguration bi dina am ndax du am.
xam nga inauguration bi gis ngeen fi ñu ko weer du waxi maa bugg maa bañ dañ ne inauguration bi fi ñu ko weer mooy ci baati réew mi te baati réew mi leeral nañu ko mu ne IEC mooy wax ki gañ kañ wax ne nag moo gañee ñu ne kooka ka fa toog su waxtoom jeexee ca bés booba ca lañ ko war a waat loolu mu toog xam nga loolu mooy baati réew loolu nag doomi réew mi dañ ko war a sàmm moo tax coalition bi sàmmaloon wane nag ña nga xam ne ñoo d'accordul ak loola gis nga ne ñu ngaa dem ca attekaay ba pour wax fa itam seen tawat mu mel ni bon lii yoon ñun ñu ngi koo doxal ñeneen itam nañ doxal lii yoon loolu mooy isi jàmm ci réew